Good day, everybody. I'm so excited to be joined today by one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, along with her partner, Io Sky. This, of course, Dakota Kai. Dakota, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad at all, thanks. It's a pleasure to meet you. I have to tell you,
You
in
too.
my research for this interview, I've always known that you're fantastically talented on air and everything that you do. But there's so many other interesting things about you that we're going to get into in a little bit. First of all, I'm so curious. How did you get your start with WWE?
So before, like way back when, before I even started, my brother and I used to watch it, and he was the one that started watching it first. I didn't really give it the time of the day. I was ignorant, and he just like I just sat down one day, and it was in the middle of the Rock and Austin feud. Rock was in the ring cutting it like a promo, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then from there, I fell in love with the athleticism of it and the performance art of it. So I was born and raised in New Zealand, and I didn't think there was anywhere where I could do that. I didn't look, but I also was just not really sure about the landscape of that back home. And there was like a little promotion. They asked me to come along and start training because they needed more girls. And then from there, I started just, working every weekend. And from there, I got the opportunity to travel to like Japan. I got the opportunity to travel here to the States, Australia, and things like that just to build my resume. And then in 2014, I got the opportunity to do a tryout, and the tryout was in Melbourne, Australia. And they, at the time, they were like, "Look, you did awesome. We really, really like you, but right now we don't have anything for you." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Like, the wind was like taken out of my sails a little bit, but I was like, "Cool, sure, I'll do more. I'll go do another Japan tour. Just have fun with it." And then it was like in 2017, like before the first Mae Young Classic, they messaged me, and they knew that I was in the States for some independent shows, and they invited me to just train at the Performance Center with the girls class. And sure enough, I did. And then I got an email a couple of days later, being offered a contract. Just insane to think about. I was like a mess. I was like, I read the email and I'm like, oh my gosh! And all my friends thought that something bad had happened. So I was a crying, blubbering mess. But yeah, it was so surreal.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I know that before being on the main, what's known as the main roster with WWE, you spent some time with NXT, and there
Yeah.
have been so many superstars who've come through the ranks of NXT. Can you take a moment and talk about like the importance of that brand because it seems to develop so much wonderful talent?
Yeah. So like I said, I started in 2017. So I was with NXT for about 4 years, if I did my maths correctly. And uh, at the time, it was such a family to me. A lot of the other girls that were coming in, I had already known from before on the independent scene. So it was just such a great environment. And during the time in our women's division, we had myself, but not only that, we like had Shayna Baszler, we had Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Mia Yim. We had such an awesome women's division, and we were all already really close. We were friends from like way back before, and if we didn't know each other, we got really close. But I think we took a lot of pride in that women's division, and we I think that was like a driving force for us. We really wanted to help elevate, raise the bar a little bit, and that's kind of what got us through. But NXT during that time was just so cool. It was so surreal. We had all the takeovers, which were amazing to be a part of if you had the opportunity to do so. But yeah, that time holds a special place in my heart for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, somebody that you might be familiar with, a guy who goes by the name of Paul Triple H Levesque, said the other day in the press conference or the post press conference for Survivor Series that paraphrasing ever so slightly, it's just as important to start the card as it is to main event the card. Now, at the beginning of Survivor Series, it was the War Games match that you took place in, and then couple nights later on Monday Night Raw, you're also starting off the show with a fantastic segment. So tell me about how you've become like this, or this fantastic scene stealer. Because obviously you're part of a group, and I acknowledge that. But it just seems that in all these, like, exciting spots, there you are.
um, and that, pretty much started from SummerSlam, where we basically debuted our group Damage Control, and we interrupted Bianca versus Becky's match, and they were opening the show. I think it's been sort of like a trend, which has been very new to me, because I didn't have the opportunity to do any main roster stuff in my first WWE run. I did some like things here and there, some dark matches, but it's very much been like, I feel like I've been thrown straight into the deep end from SummerSlam till now, because like you said, we've been doing a lot of like opening the show, big segment, exciting things here and there. Survivor Series, like the Women's War Games match opened the show, which was, it's so surreal to be the first, because it really sets the tone for the whole show. You have a very important job to do that. So I'm grateful to be given that opportunity to have that, like, to be, you know, trusted with such an important spot on the show. And it's definitely like, given that opportunity to open the show and things like that has just really improved my confidence, because that's something I've lacked before. So to be opening the show on a Monday Night Raw, which is something I never thought would happen, or opening the show on Survivor Series, is something that's just been like a dream. It's definitely helped me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that I've seen a shift, because I've been watching WWE my whole life. I think it was probably something that, you know, was ingrained in me from the time, you know, I could crawl. And one of the things I've seen is there's obviously been a huge shift in terms of the women's division. And years ago, and when I say years ago, I'm saying like 10, 15 years ago, when you would go to an event, it was, you know, the demographics was mainly a male audience. Not the case now. And now very much you're seeing a lot of women who are very interested, invested in the characters, invested in the storylines. The last time WWE was here in Ottawa a few months ago, September, October-ish, you saw lots of women in the audience. I wonder if you could talk to me about how you see that evolution also being kind of being put into the role of the position of a role model for a lot of young girls that I see at the audience as well. Because one of the things I love to see is the interaction between the superstars and the fans, especially at live events, and just seeing how many young women, young girls look up to you.
I think, like you said, the evolution has definitely been something that's taken shape over the last few years. And like I said, when I was talking about the women's division that I was a part of in NXT, I think it was really important for us because, you know, there's so many different characters. Wrestling is literally for everyone, you know, that there's a reason why the demographics gotten so big. But we really wanted to raise the bar in terms of women being taken seriously in the ring, as, you know, just doing athletic things and creating insane moments and entertaining the crowd. And I think I guess just women being given the chance and the time and the opportunity to be able to tell their story has helped a lot too. And I hear a lot of female fans coming up to me and just saying, like, you've really, like, gotten me back into wrestling, or I've loved, like, watching you guys lately. It's just been it's cool to see women to be taken seriously in the ring, and to not just be the bathroom break match, or to be in these insane stories that are like high impact, just crazy athleticism, or the storyline's insane. And I think that because of that, because we've been, you know, given the opportunity to tell these big stories and have these big matches, that it's sort of grown our different demographic a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And seeing the children in the crowd and seeing the women in the crowd has been great, because like you said, over the last few years, that number's definitely gone up, and it's really cool to see a lot more women enjoying the show, enjoying the characters, whoever they like, whoever they boo, it's all the same. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful thing to see. And I have to tell you, I think that you're so extremely talented, and it's a joy to watch you week in and week out. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
There are going to be a lot of people that are going to be coming to the big shows that you have coming up here in Canada in February. Yeah. We've got SmackDown on the Friday. Of course, we've got the Elimination Chamber, which will be on the Saturday. Then Monday Night Raw will be here on the Monday. For somebody who's never come to a live show before, what can they expect?
The live show. So for me, what you see on television is one thing, right? But the live shows are our opportunity to like really interact with the fans. You see a little bit of it on TV, but the live events is where we have like a lot more fun. We're a lot more like loose with the rules. So we can like go into the crowd. We can, have a back and forth with someone sitting front row. Like it's a lot more fun for me. I think a lot of others would agree that the live events are just like just fun. I don't know how to explain it, but we have a lot more interactions with everyone around. So because we don't have the pressure of doing, performing necessarily for television, we have it's literally for the fans. So I would say if you have the time, definitely come along, because the live events are where like the fun is, and you can just be involved and go back and forth with your favorite superstar. Like that's where the bread and butter is of the company.
I love it. I love it. Now, I want to be respectful of the time, because I know that you've got other conversations to have today, but I want to take you through a little something I like to call rapid fire. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this quick. This is going to be fun. First thing that comes to your mind. Okay. First question of rapid fire, Dakota Kai, is always, and you can give me a top 3 if you'd like. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Lord of the Rings, 100, hands down, the trilogy, Lord of the Rings trilogy. You know what? That could be 1, 2, and 3. I'm like such a nerd for like fantasy and that genre. Yeah. And I think also because like Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand, that kind of hit.
I was going to say that might have something to do with it. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
A little bit, but I love the story. I'm such a nerd, so yeah,
I love
that
it.
was easy.
Who was the WWE superstar, past or present, that inspires you the most?
The Rock. I think because of his Samoan heritage and his like insane ability to be entertaining. Yeah, definitely him.
Love it. And as you mentioned his Samoan heritage, you also, if what I've read on the internet is correct, are also of Samoan heritage. Is there a chance that you will join the bloodline?
I mean, hey, if you put it out there, who knows? Like, I have like, Samoan blood in me. So you know what? We might see.
It makes sense. It makes sense. What is the favorite match that you yourself have been in?
I would say War Games. The one that just happened was awesome, but I think for me, even though I didn't really enter the cage, was the very first NXT Women's War Games in 2019. Because that was such a good important moment for all of us to be the first ever Women's War Games match.
Love that. Now, I've heard you say before that I'm not sure if this is still the case, but your favorite video game of all time at one point was The Last of Us.
Yes, it still is.
Okay. Now, I know they're making a show of it. Is there any chance that you're going to be in that show? Because to me, that would make sense. Even if it's like some sort of a walk-on role, one of the biggest fans to be in that show.
I have a feeling, because it's coming out in January, that it may already be filmed, but that story is so long. So I'm sure it looks amazing. I'm sure there'll be multiple seasons. So you know what? Let's put that out there. I would love to be in The Last of Us show. HBO, call me.
Love it. Season 2. And like I said, one of the things I absolutely love hearing about is that you also, like so many of us, enjoy gaming. So briefly, because I know you've got a very cool setup there, briefly describe what your gaming setup is like.
So my gaming setup right now is, obviously I've got the mic right here. I've got my DSLR camera right here. I've got 2 curved monitors right here, plus a portrait one right here. I've got I don't know. I just love, and I've got lights and all the gadgets and things like that. It took me a while to because I didn't know anything about setting up something like this before streaming. I just did a lot of research and did a lot of YouTube how to da 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 da. Yeah. So I taught myself a lot of this. Yeah, it's cool.
I love it. Who would you say is the bigger gamer, yourself or Asuka?
I'm not really sure. I see her on her Switch a lot, and I'm on my Steam Deck. I'll have to might have to have a gamer off or something like that. I think she might be a little bit more undercover, because I love talking about it. I love when I stream and doing all that stuff. But I think she might be I don't know. She might be. We might be just here and here. We might have to have a competition or something.
I love that.
Who was the biggest gamer?
Yeah. Last question for you. Who would be your dream match?
Ooh. I would love, it's so hard to answer this question, because I literally would love to have a match against everyone. I think that's the only way to challenge myself and get better. But I think in the climate right now, I'd love to have a match against Rhea. Um,
Okay.
we had like a few matches back in NXT before everything, and I think it would be really interesting to see us two in a singles competition, just where we are now and how we've evolved to this point. I think I'd be interested to see how we can do
Excellent.
that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to thank you so much for the time. I want to thank you for everything that you do with WWE. Again, sincerely, I've been very entertained by everything that you've been doing, and I can't wait to see what's next. Her name is Dakota Kai. You can catch her, of course, this February, SmackDown and the Elimination Chamber in Montreal, as well as Monday Night Raw here in Ottawa. Dates will be provided. Thank you again so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Keith. That was a lot of fun. I'm excited to get to Ottawa. Let's go.
Nice.